Do you find yourself wondering why she would think this or how he could do that? We're often perplexed by other people's thoughts and behaviors. For example, I just don't understand why no matter what I present to her, she always thinks it could be better. Or, how on earth would you think that just winging it would bring you results? You need to have a schedule for yourself. How about, it just seems to me that they should take charge and get that house cleaned up. Or, I can't believe you don't see how those two would be perfect for that project. Sound familiar? We all do it, and we all suffer the consequences from it. We drive ourselves crazy, lamenting about why people just don't use common sense or do what's right. What we don't realize is that they are, but for themselves, not us. But life would be so much easier if people just followed our line of thinking. Easier, maybe, but better, definitely not. This is where being familiar with the Clifton strengths and how they show up differently for each person is crucial in increasing emotional intelligence needed to ease annoyances. Having this knowledge at the forefront of your thinking helps reduce a significant amount of frustration that comes from judgment. Let me show you how by going through each of the previous examples given. I just don't understand why, no matter what I present to her, she always thinks it could be better. This is indicative of someone who has the maximizer strength high. Their reaction to your work is not about you or actually even your work. It's about the fact that their brain is wired to always strive for better. Where emotional intelligence comes into play is when that person is able to realize their instinct to always seek betterment can be upsetting to others, so they learn to read the audience and know when to be mindful of curtailing how they present their thoughts in a manner that won't be harmful. On the flip side, when you know that they have the maximizer strength high, it helps you to not take their reaction as a criticism, but rather just how they go about doing things best for themselves. How on earth would you think that just winging it would bring you results? You need to have a schedule for yourself. Here, it seems as though the person who is annoyed has the discipline strength high, and the person they are annoyed with has the adaptability strength high. People with high discipline tend to thrive with schedules, routines, and structure to feel productive. But people with adaptability high may feel suffocated by being scheduled because it just feels more natural for them to go with the flow. As you can imagine, these two may butt heads a lot. But once again, knowledge is power, and having the knowledge of how one another works best for them is the first step in being able to keep anger at bay. Keep in mind, these are generalizations for example purposes, and the only way to truly know how strengths work is by taking into account what other traits are surrounding it and which one shows up in the bottom as well. For a full account of your own strengths, hop onto my website, feelempoweredeveryday.com, to set up a complimentary conversation call. Next, it seems to me that they should just take charge and get that house cleaned up. This is a clear representation of the command strength. When it shows up high, you have no problem speaking up and taking control of a situation. But when it is low, this is completely out of your comfort zone, and that is totally okay. We each shine in different areas, so if being Miss Bossy Pants is who you are, then go for it, but with a strong emotional intelligence to lead you. And if it's not your thing, it doesn't mean you're weak. It just means you are strong in other ways according to your top strengths. and so you should honor it. This circumstance shows how we benefit from knowing each other's strengths, so we know who to call on to help in dealing with things that require traits we don't have. So if the house needs to be cleaned up, but I'm not the one to take charge and get the ball rolling, I can ask for help from someone who is, and I will do my part to help in other ways, minimizing irritation by all involved. I can't believe you don't see how those two would be perfect for that project. The arranger strength is at play in this instance. Life is like a puzzle for those people. They are quickly able to assess and see how things and people fit best together. Emotional intelligence is critical in understanding that not everyone can see things the way that you do. They may not pick up on the nuances that you do, and understanding that it is a gift of yours alleviates you from getting aggravated when you have to explain yourself to others. Are you starting to put together how in your everyday life a strengths-based emotional intelligence approach is important in reducing stress, anxiety, frustration, and anger, while encourages people to connect, respect, appreciate, and empower themselves and one another? When we understand that the way strengths show up for each person is likened to their fingerprint, it helps us stop judging people for being themselves instead of doing and thinking like us, based on the way our strengths show up for us. We are all meant to be different, and thank goodness for that. Just think of how boring our world would be if we were all the same, and how much we would miss out on people complementing one another's attributes and gifts. So, the next time someone does something that baffles you, stop and remind yourself they are just honoring their own strengths in the same way you honor yours. When it comes to strengths, there is no right or wrong. There is just different. Thanks, guys, and have a great day.